Love it. Okay, you guys know the markers in the middle.
Sabihin na there was a moment of realization where I thought, oh, ang galing ko pala mag-isip. And
$5 billion gamble on Eala rejected plus top 50 explosion. Welcome back to Champions Tennisistics, the absolute epicenter of everything tennis. And before we absolutely explode into the wildest story that has ever crossed our desks, I need to hit pause for just 1 second, because we have something absolutely incredible to celebrate with you. We just smashed through 3,000 subscribers. That's right, 3,000 incredible tennis fans who show up every single day, ready to ride with us through every twist, every turn, every upset, and every triumph. You are the heartbeat of this channel, and honestly, this milestone feels like we're all winning together. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you even waiting for? Today is your day to join the Champions Tennisistics family, because what we're about to break down is the kind of story that only comes around once in a generation. So buckle up, because what we have for you today is not just tennis news. This is a cultural earthquake. This is the kind of headline that makes you stop scrolling, put down your phone, and say out loud to whoever is next to you, wait, did that really just happen? We're talking about billion-dollar boardrooms colliding with baseline battles, Silicon Valley titans chasing down rising tennis superstars, and a 20-year-old Filipino sensation who just looked the most powerful CEO on planet Earth in the eye and essentially said, "Thanks, but I'm building something bigger than money." The tennis world is absolutely on fire right now, and at the center of this inferno is one name that you need to be paying attention to if you aren't already, Eala. This young woman is not just playing tennis. She is rewriting the entire script of what it means to be a global athlete in the modern era. We're witnessing the birth of an icon, the arrival of a movement, and the kind of underdog-to-champion story that Hollywood executives would kill to option. Let's start with the headline that has literally broken the internet and sent shockwaves through every major newsroom from Manila to Menlo Park to Melbourne. Multiple sources are reporting, and I mean legitimate insider channels are buzzing with confirmation, that Tim Cook, the chairman and CEO of Apple, the trillion-dollar technology behemoth that practically runs the world, has personally intervened to make Eala an offer that defies all logic and precedent in the sports marketing universe. We're not talking about your standard endorsement deal where an athlete shows up at a product launch, smiles for the cameras, posts a couple of Instagram stories with the new iPhone, and collects a nice check. We're talking about something so audacious, so unprecedented, that it makes LeBron's lifetime Nike deal look quaint. According to the reports that are circulating among industry insiders, Tim Cook authorized a proposal that involved a $1 billion upfront cash investment structure combined with a $500 million annual commitment over a 10-year period. Let that marinate for a second. We're talking about a deal framework that could theoretically approach $6 billion in total value when you factor in equity stakes, performance bonuses, and the kind of back-end participation that transforms an athlete into a business mogul. The pitch, as it has been described by those close to the negotiations, was beyond anything the sports world has ever seen. Apple wasn't just looking for a spokesperson. They were positioning Eala as the face of their entire Asian expansion strategy, a co-owner in regional ventures, and essentially the human embodiment of the Apple brand for billions of consumers across the fastest-growing market on the planet. The message delivered to the young tennis star was clear, direct, and designed to be irresistible. You will be the face of Apple Asia. Think about the gravity of that for a moment. Apple doesn't throw around billion-dollar commitments casually. This is a company that measures every investment against decades of projected returns. For Tim Cook to personally champion this kind of deal means that Apple's analytics, their market research teams, their brand strategists, all came to the same conclusion. Eala is not just a talented tennis player who might win a Grand Slam someday. She represents a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to capture the hearts, minds, and wallets of an entire generation across Southeast Asia and beyond. The Philippines has nearly 120 million people. Southeast Asia as a region is home to almost 700 million. These are markets where Apple is fighting tooth and nail against Samsung, Xiaomi, and other competitors for market share. Landing a figure like Eala as the centerpiece of a decade-long marketing campaign could shift billions in consumer behavior. It's not just smart business. It's the kind of strategic chess move that separates good companies from generational empires. But here's where this story takes a turn that nobody saw coming. And this is the part that has everyone from sports agents to venture capitalists to casual tennis fans absolutely losing their minds. In the face of this offer, in the face of the kind of generational wealth that would set up her family for centuries, in the face of becoming one of the wealthiest athletes on earth before even reaching her prime competitive years, Eala reportedly delivered a response that left Tim Cook himself stunned into silence. The exact wording has been reported slightly differently depending on the source, but the essence of her message was captured in a statement of approximately 17 words that boiled down to this sentiment. I am deeply honored by the vision you've presented, but my racket speaks for my country first, and my legacy is built on the court, not in boardrooms. And that is something no amount of money can purchase because it is priceless. Can we just take a collective breath and appreciate what just happened there? A 20-year-old woman, who grew up training at the Rafa Nadal Academy, who has fought through qualifiers and challenger events, who knows exactly what financial security would mean for her and everyone she loves, looked at a billion-dollar offer and essentially said, I respect what you're offering, but I'm not for sale because what I'm building is bigger than your balance sheet. That is not the response of a typical athlete. That is not the response of someone motivated purely by endorsements and appearance fees. That is the response of someone who understands that true legacy, the kind of legacy that echoes through generations, cannot be manufactured in a corporate conference room. It has to be earned through sweat and sacrifice on the court. It has to be built through moments of adversity where you dig deep and find something inside yourself that even you didn't know existed. It has to come from representing your flag at the highest level and making an entire nation believe that anything is possible. And that, Champions Tennisitics family, brings us to where Eala is actually doing the work that makes her worth $1 billion to begin with. While the business world was speculating about deals and dollar signs, Eala was in Auckland, New Zealand, at the ASB Classic, absolutely dismantling opponents and climbing the rankings in real time. This tournament has been nothing short of a coming-out party. We've watched Alex grow up on tour over the past few years, battling through the ups and downs that every young player experiences, but her performance at this ASB Classic represents something different. This wasn't just a good week. This was a statement. This was a declaration that she's not a prospect anymore. She's a contender. The marquee moment came in the quarterfinals against Magda Linette, the experienced Polish star seeded 5th in the tournament. Now, for those of you who follow Eala closely, you know this matchup carried some serious psychological weight. Linette had been Eala's kryptonite. They had faced each other twice before in 2025, once at the Abu Dhabi Open and again at the Nottingham Open, and both times Linette used her veteran savvy to dismantle the young Filipina in straight sets. Eala herself had openly acknowledged that she found it difficult to solve the puzzle that Linette presented, struggling with the way the Polish player mixed up pace, changed rhythms, and used her experience to neutralize Eala's weapons. So heading into this quarterfinal, there were legitimate questions. Could Eala break through the mental barrier? Could she adjust her game plan to handle a player who had figured her out? Would the pressure of the moment, knowing that a top 50 ranking was within reach, cause her to tighten up? The answer came loud and clear over the course of 97 minutes of absolutely brilliant tennis. Eala is not the same player she was even 6 months ago. She walked onto the court and delivered a comprehensive, mature, tactically sound beatdown, winning 6-3, 6-2 in a match that looked comfortable on the scoreboard but required every ounce of mental fortitude she could muster. The match started in the worst possible way for Eala. Linette, playing with the confidence of someone who had beaten her opponent twice before, came out aggressive and broke Eala's serve in the very opening game. You could almost hear the collective groan from Eala's supporters watching around the world. The thought had to cross everyone's mind. Here we go again. Another day where experience beats youth. Another lesson learned the hard way. But this is where we saw a different Eala. Instead of letting that early break snowball into panic, instead of letting the doubt creep in and tighten her muscles, she responded with immediate fury. She broke back in the very next game, sending a clear message to Lynette that this wasn't going to be business as usual. That sequence, that immediate response, was the turning point not just of the match, but potentially of Eala's entire career trajectory. It demonstrated a champion's mentality. You can knock me down, but I'm getting up swinging, and I'm coming for you. From that moment forward, Eala began to take control of the match. She started finding her range on the forehand, painting lines, and pushing Lynette deeper behind the baseline. Her serve, which had been tentative in previous meetings, was clicking, allowing her to dictate from the first ball of the rally. In the sixth game of the opening set, she broke Lynette for a second time, and you could see the veteran starting to press, starting to feel the tide turning against her. Eala served out the set with a composure that looked like someone who had been winning big matches her entire life. The second set was an absolute clinic in front-running. Eala exploded out of the gates, racing to a 4-0 lead and playing with a freedom and aggression that left Lynette scrambling just to stay in rallies. She secured back-to-back breaks, hitting angles that the Polish star couldn't reach and serving with a confidence that made it look easy. Lynette, to her credit, showed the fight that has kept her in the top 50 for years, managing to break back once and momentarily slow the bleeding. But Eala was not in a forgiving mood. She snuffed out any hope of a comeback immediately, breaking for a third time in the seventh game and then, in the ultimate display of a killer instinct, serving out the match to love. Serving it out to love in a quarterfinal against a player who had beaten you twice before. That's not luck. That's not variance. That's growth. That's a player who has done the mental work, who has studied the film, who has put in the hours with her coaching team to identify exactly what needed to change, and then had the guts to execute when the lights were brightest. In her post-match interview, Eala was characteristically humble, but you could see the satisfaction radiating from her. She acknowledged the history with Lynette, saying that obviously Magda, being such an experienced player, had given her difficulties in the past, so she was genuinely happy to see her level increasing and improving. She talked about doing her best, doing what she could, and recognizing when there was an opening and having the confidence to go for it. She even called the match difficult, which shows you the respect she has for her opponents and the competitive nature of professional tennis. Difficult maybe, but she made it look like destiny. And the rewards for this breakthrough victory are massive, not just in terms of confidence, but in terms of cold, hard ranking points and the doors they open. Every single comment, every prediction, every bit of support you show in the comments section fuels this channel and fuels the conversation around these incredible athletes. We read everything. We see you. We appreciate you. And while you're down there in the comments, do me one more favor. If this video got you hyped, if you learned something, if you're now emotionally invested in Eala's journey like we are, smash that like button. Absolutely demolish it. That little thumbs up tells YouTube that this content matters, that tennis fans are hungry for deep dives and real analysis, and it helps us reach even more people who need to know about what's happening in this sport. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We just crossed 3,000 subscribers, which is incredible, but we are just getting started. Our goal is to become the #1 destination for tennis news, analysis, and storytelling on YouTube, and we cannot do it without you. When you subscribe, you become part of this journey. You get notified every time we drop a new video, every time there's breaking news, every time something massive happens in the tennis world. And trust me, with players like Eala on the rise, there is going to be no shortage of massive moments. Turn on those notification bells too, because in today's YouTube landscape, subscribing is not enough. You need to actively tell YouTube that you want to see our content, and the bell is how you do that. That way, you will never miss a breaking story, never miss an analysis, never miss a moment of the drama and excitement that makes tennis the greatest sport on the planet. This is Champions Tennisics, your home for everything tennis, signing off for now, but definitely not for long. We will be back with more updates, more analysis, more stories that make you laugh, make you think, and make you appreciate just how special this sport and these athletes really are. Stay tuned, stay passionate, stay loud in your support for players like Eala who represent the very best of what sports can be. And above all, keep watching the ball because the best is yet to come. The Eala era has officially arrived, and we are all lucky enough to be here to witness it unfold.
Love it. know the market in your hand.
What is your current iPhone?
I'm using the 15 Pro Max.
Pro Max.
And I love it.
Yeah.
It's attached to me.
No, the Academy has been my home for the past 7 years. And of course, I have to take credit